In this review, I'll reveal the exact parental control software that will meet the needs of you and your family and help protect them online from the many risks, including often very graphic content that's out there. I will also be explaining when parental control software might not actually solve your problem. Exclusive discounts for viewers of this channel like you are available down below, so make sure to check those out. Let me explain how we tested these services at Home Security Heroes. First, we downloaded each parental control software either to a Chromebook or an iPhone. During this stage, we took a bunch of notes about how easy it was to get the software set up. We then went through all of the major features of these parental control softwares, including time management tools, web filtering capabilities, geolocation abilities, and usage reports, among other things. After that, we tried our best to break these softwares basically and get around them in the same way that a clever child would. Finally, we looked at the cost of each service and simply asked, is it worth it? And we did this for 7 services: Bark, Norton Family, Circle as a standalone product, Aura, which includes Circle, Google Family Link, Custodio, and mSpy. Yes, we stress tested Circle twice, and that's because it operates a little bit differently when combined with Aura. Later on in the video, I'll explain what those exact differences are and what they could mean to you as a parent. But for now, we'll start with our first option, Bark. If you haven't yet heard of Bark, you're probably pretty new to parental controls because it is one of the most popular options out there, and there are many reasons for that. I like Bark, but it doesn't have a perfect pedigree. As it turns out, Bark, buddy, that's not a command. Sorry about that. As I was saying, this software has a few issues. Positives first though, this software works pretty well across all devices. Some of the functionality is limited on iOS, but honestly, you should expect this across all parental control software. They are not going to work as well on iOS as they are on Android, and that's simply because of Apple's default privacy settings. By design, Apple products don't play well with third-party apps, so in the case of Bark, that means that you can't use it with Discord or Snapchat. Installation of Bark is easy, but one caveat, you do have to install it with each app that you want to monitor. The instructions are straightforward, it's easy to do, but it's a time-consuming process, and do you honestly want to spend half of an afternoon setting this up? Maybe, maybe not. Bark's schedule setting options are very impressive. They allow you to create routines with certain rule sets so that certain apps are not accessible during your child's school time, but they are after class. So you could block Hulu or Disney Plus while your children are in school, but allow them access during a limited window in the evenings. You also have a long list of categories that you see on the screen here, like bullying, hate speech, drug and alcohol content, and you can filter alerts across the most popular apps and devices according to these categories. While testing, we found that Bark's algorithm is exceptionally good at identifying potentially objectionable content that you wouldn't want your child to see. Actually, let me rephrase that. While you can use Bark to block specific apps and websites, its content filtering simply sends an alert if your child has been exposed to something objectionable. For instance, if you allow your child access to the YouTube app and they watch a horrifically violent video, you will get an alert, but the video will not be blocked. Bark, buddy. Sorry, this software does give detailed usage reports, but it doesn't tell you specifically what your children are seeing. You're not going to get a full internet usage history from Bark. You're not going to see the search terms that they're searching for. While Bark does, of course, include geolocation services, it won't tell you where a device is at any given time. Instead, parents can ask for an alert from their child when they visit a predetermined location like home or school. Parents can also ask a child to check in, but the child has the option to not respond to that request. We also found Bark relatively easy to get around by disabling its VPN, which an older child could do in about 10 seconds. For those of you watching this who prefer a slightly more laissez-faire approach to parenting, I think Bark's a good option. It allows you to monitor your child's online experience, but it's not going to give you full control. If you want to see exactly where your children have been online or in the real world, this is probably not the right fit for you. Now let's talk about Norton Family. This is an app that comes from a big name family and offers very detailed usage reports. With this app, you're really taking a microscope to your child's internet usage. It gives you every website they visited, and it will tell you every search term that they looked up. You can block and filter content very easily, and you can see your child's exact location in real time. But being a Norton product, I probably shouldn't be surprised at this point that there is one major flaw. And when I say major, I mean major. Your child has to be using the Norton app on their smartphone in order for its features to work. Yeah, you heard that right. Look at the fine print here. Notice it mentions the need to use the supported browser extension if on a desktop, or in-app Norton browser if on mobile. When you install Norton on a child's iOS or Android device, it shows up as an app. The child must then click into the Norton app and then navigate to the sites that they want to in order for Norton to monitor anything. If your child goes directly to Google Chrome, Norton doesn't see anything. All you can do at that point with Norton is block the internet in full. So if you have children under, say, 8, Norton might be okay, but for anybody older than that, they're just going to navigate around the Norton app. Honestly, I'm pretty shocked by this, and I really don't think that Norton merits any more discussion, so we'll move on to the next one, and that's Circle. I like Circle a lot. I think it's a very good parental control app. It's user-friendly, it's functional, and it provides detailed usage analysis. The downside to Circle, and it's not a big one, is that it works only on mobile devices and Chromebooks. So if your kid is hanging out on a PC desktop all day, Circle's not going to be a good fit for you. But given that it's not 1998 anymore, my guess is that your child is spending most of their time on a mobile device or on a tablet, in which case Circle could be a really good fit. Circle works on over 100 apps, including Amazon, YouTube, TikTok, and did I read this right? Yeah? Slack. Really? There are children on Slack? I guess they're either future prodigies or just poor kids. Whatever the case, Circle works well with Slack, along with any other app that your child could conceivably want to use. Circle also allows you to filter and block content by category and choose specific sites that you don't want your child to see. You can use Circle to view detailed usage reports that tell you exactly where your children are spending their time, as well as whether they try to access any blocked content. Installation with Circle is dead simple. It's very easy, even on iOS. During testing, installation on an iPhone took us less than 5 minutes. Circle began to work with each app right away, and you don't have to install it on individual apps in the same way that you would with Bark. Now, could kids get around Circle? Of course, smart kids are going to be able to get around basically every software out there. But, hat tip to Circle, they do make this difficult. They allow you, the parent, to control whether certain apps are deleted or not, and you can even require that a password is input in order to access device settings. All of this means that Circle is a great parental controls product, maybe the best on the market. But what about Circle and Aura together? For those of you not familiar with Aura, basically it's an all-in-one digital security solution for you and your family, and includes identity theft protection, VPN, antivirus, and now parental controls, and that's because they've recently acquired the company Circle. You can learn more about Aura's comprehensive security solution by checking the links in the video description below. So basically, if you sign up for an Aura family plan, you will also get Circle included in that plan. And that's going to give you the power of Circle's parental control software along with everything else that Aura offers. At the time that I make this video, Aura is still working on integrating Circle directly into its core product, so there are some small differences between each of the two versions, Circle as a standalone compared to Circle with Aura. So if you have been considering Circle, maybe consider getting Circle as part of the overall Aura package if you're interested in a more comprehensive digital security solution for yourself and for your family. Now, for those of you watching this on a budget who are looking for a more pared down parental control solution that they can get for free, you might want to consider Google's offering. And that is Google Family Link. This is Google's answer to parental controls, and it's going to work on all Google products, including Chromebooks. Like most things designed by Google, it's intuitive, it's easy to use. You can set screen time limits, remotely lock devices, and filter content on YouTube and Chrome by age ratings. So you can keep those R-rated movies like It really far away from your children and not scar them for life. I really hate that clown. Google is also going to allow you to see the location of your child's phone, and it provides decent usage analysis reports. It won't show you everything your child has searched for, but it does give highlights including daily, screen time, and other usage notes. Being that it's built into Google products, Family Link is actually pretty difficult to get around, but your child will age out quickly. At 13, it's automatically turned off. If you have a teen in the house, this is not going to be a good fit for you. And if you are an iOS-heavy household, this is also not going to be a good fit because it's Android only. Next up, we have Custodio. Custodio has been around for over a decade. It's one of the original parental control apps, and I think it's a very good one. But as I have often found when reviewing software here at Home Security Heroes, often the first company in the space ceases to innovate at some point, and I'd say that's sort of the case with Custodio. It's not that Custodio is out of date, it's not, but newer apps like Bark and Circle definitely make things like installation easier. I found the setup process with Custodio to be more time-consuming than with other apps, and I don't love the user interface. That said, it has all of the features you would expect. Screen time limits and scheduling, geolocation services, and very detailed usage reports. In fact, Custodio is one of the few apps on the list that will allow you to see your child's SMS history and block contacts even on an iOS device. Web filtering with Custodio, not quite as great as advertised. For instance, during testing, we blocked news and social media as categories, but we were still able to navigate to the Guardian's X page. Custodio is also easier to get around than some of the other apps on this list. It advertises that it's near impossible for a child to get around this, but during testing, our tester found a little bug where basically by changing her time zone, she was able to give herself infinite screen time. Custodio is far from perfect, but I would still call it an above average parental control software, especially because of its detailed usage reports. And speaking of detail, the next one on this list goes far beyond the category of parental control software, and I'd probably just call it spyware. That's mSpy. True to its name, mSpy lets you literally spy on your children. You get all of their messages from WhatsApp to Tinder, although hopefully your kids aren't on Tinder. You can view your child's browsing histories, their texts, even things that they typed and didn't send. So it essentially has a key logging feature. There's also a screen recording feature, so you can see exactly what your children are doing on their phone at any given moment. So mSpy is really spyware. Stalkers use it, and parents who want to know exactly what their children are doing at all hours of the day on their phone might also enjoy it. I'm reluctant to give it a hearty endorsement. I think there are better options out there that are more respectful of your children's privacy, but we did want to include this on the list. Continuing on with mSpy, it does fall short in a few key areas. First, it requires some workarounds, so if you want to use it on an iOS, it has to be on a jailbroken iOS device. mSpy also doesn't provide screen time limiting options. So with mSpy, you can't set schedules or daily usage limits. Finally, mSpy doesn't have a very clean interface. It's very detailed. It's almost like Linux for parental controls. There's a lot of data. It's not organized in a visually pleasing fashion at all. Now let's quickly touch on cost. This is going to be a short section because I think there are much more important factors to consider when getting parental control software, but of course, budget is a consideration for some watching this. So here on the screen, you see the various costs and how they compare from software to software. Obviously, Family Link is going to be the least expensive, but it's only for younger kids on an Android or a Chromebook. Norton comes out next, but man, it's just not really a functional software. If you want the best value on our list, I would go with Aura combined with Circle, and that's going to give you much more than parental controls. You're also going to get identity theft protection, including an insurance policy against identity theft, dark web alerts, ongoing credit monitoring, VPNs, antivirus, safe gaming software, really a whole suite of things that can be a sort of digital halo for you and your family. As always, discounts available below. After being knee-deep in parental controls for the past few weeks, here's how I would categorize them. So the best nuclear option is going to be mSpy. If you feel like you need to take full control of your child's social life, mSpy gives you that ability. They don't care about your children's privacy, and that might be what you're looking for. If you're not ready for a full-blown nuclear attack on your child's internet usage, consider Custodio. It works exceptionally well with Android. The best parental control software for iOS is going to be Circle, either as a standalone or with Aura. It was the easiest software for me to install on an iOS device, and it has a great interface. Best overall, I'd recommend going with Aura combined with Circle. That's going to give you not just the parental controls that Circle offers, but a whole suite of digital protection tools that you can use to form a safety halo around the digital lives of yourself and your family. And I'll also admit that I do have a soft spot in my heart for Bark, although they don't make any of our best stuffs here. Norton Family, I would avoid entirely here, and Google could be a good fit for those of you on a budget who are Android only and have children under the age of 13. I'm Brandon. Thank you so much for sticking with me until the end, and I'll see you in this next video here.